everybody. I hope you're doing well. Today what you're going to learn about is you're going to review actually quadrilaterals. You studied these in 3rd grade and I wanted to go over them with you. Now all of these definitions are in your math book on page 927, I'm going to say. So you can look at these and go over these while you're doing your work in your workbook. So if you don't remember all of these as we go through these. So there are 5 different quadrilaterals we're going to talk about. Let's first talk about the word quadrilateral. When we look at that, part of the word is quad. Quad means 4. So all of these shapes that we're going to talk about have 4 sides, and they also have 4 angles to them. And if you remember, angles is just the distance between 2 sides or 2 rays that meet together. So let's talk about the different ones and the characteristics they have so you can identify them. The first one is a parallelogram. Now, if you remember when we talk about parallel, it means that there's 2 lines that as they continue on, they will never cross. So a parallelogram, first to start, is it means that the opposite sides are equal in length. So it means this side and this side are the same length of measurement, and this side are the same length with measurement. It also says that the opposite sides are parallel to each other. So this line and this line are parallel. If they continue to travel, they would never cross. And this line are parallel to each other. If they continued on, they would never cross each other. The interesting thing that's different about a parallelogram is that the opposite angles are the same size. So what that means is if you measured this angle right here and this opposite angle right here, that they would be the same. And if you measured this angle here with a protractor and this angle over here, they would be the same measurement. The next quadrilateral we're going to talk about is a rectangle. You guys are really familiar with rectangles, I know. Same thing that we said here. The opposite sides are the same length. So the top and the bottom are the same length, and the side are the same length. And it has 4 right triangles. So as you can see, all 4 corners make a 90-degree angle or a right angle. A rhombus. Now, a rhombus is very interesting. It looks kind of like a parallelogram. The difference is that with a rhombus, all 4 sides are the same length. On here, the opposite sides are the same length, and the opposite sides are the same length. So these are the same length, and these were the same length. For a rhombus, all 4 sides are going to be the same length. And still, just like these other ones, the opposite sides are equal length, and it has, the opposite sides are parallel to each other. So if these 2 sides continued on, they would never cross, and if these 2 sides continued on, they would never cross. Moving on to a square, same thing that all 4 of these have as its first characteristic, is that the opposite sides are equal in length. So the opposite sides are equal in length. The opposite sides are parallel to each other, parallel. But the interesting thing about a square is that all 4 corners make a right angle and are a 90-degree angle. So what's our big difference between a rectangle and a square? The opposite sides are equal in length and parallel. It has 4 right angles. The big difference is that with a square, all 4 sides are equal length. With a rectangle, only the opposite sides are equal in length. The last one is a trapezoid. Now this is different than all the other ones because all of these have the characteristics that the opposite sides are equal in length and parallel. Trapezoids aren't. So if I was to take this over A trapezoid, the characteristic that it has is the opposite sides aren't equal in length, because if you look at this, this is not the same distance as this, and this is not going to be the same distance as that. The one characteristic trapezoids have is they have one pair of parallel lines. Now the parallel lines are not going to be these side lines, because if you continue to draw these lines, they would eventually cross, right? Your parallel lines with a trapezoid is going to be this line at the top and this line at the bottom, because if they continued on, they would never cross each other. Now that's just a quick review of these 5. Remember, look in your math book and you're going to find the definition for all of those, and you can use it on your workbook pages that you're going to complete today. So I hope that helped, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.